Hey, what's up? I'm just popping in with another video, and I wanted to just keep running with the last one. So what I was saying in the last one, that a lot of development and experience in life is really like jumping, if anything, and that we think of things like if you were to undertake like a training of some kind, they might approach it as though, so this is going to be your trajectory, this is going to be your course track, this is going to be your your linear progression. But if you were to really undergo something, a lot of what you're going to experience is going to be more so like rapid jumping. So you're going to do something, and then you're going to plateau for a little bit. You might doubt yourself. You might near about quit. You might actually quit and come back to something several times. And then boom, you have some kind of epiphany or metamorphosis, and you jump to another thing. So you could say that the caterpillar develops into a butterfly. You can reasonably understand that and appreciate that as a progression, a linear progression. Although even as a progression, it'd still be more of a cyclical progression, because as we're existing on the Earth is actually rotating in a circle, and also moving through Earth. The solar system, might also be moving through Earth, through the solar system itself, as a composite, in aggregate, in a motion that might also be something of a cycle. According to Arthur Avalon, nothing moves in a straight line, nothing. And that might actually be because we don't exist in, there's no such thing as a straight anything, because all things are unified and actually cyclical in nature, in conception, existence, and maybe even when things cease to exist. That's all a function and a form of a cycle. And so there is nothing straight about anything, even straight. And that actually might be why a lot of things that are conceived by man are constantly failing. You may think that like a lot of the things are different conveyances. Conveyance is a word for vehicle that you frequent and that you ride. They're so sturdy and they're so reliable and they're so well engineered and they're so powerful, but they're actually constantly failing. If you were to look at the actual like detailed work of, like, say, like a fleet of a transportation fleet, whether that be a municipal, educational, private, or high-end transportation of any kind, any class of vehicle, regular vehicle, two-wheel vehicle, three-wheel vehicle, commercial vehicle at any scale, aircraft, watercraft, hovercraft, which might be a lot of different stuff, even spacecraft. If you were to look at the detailed work notes and work assignments of the maintenance and for these, they're constantly failing, constantly. It'd probably be the same with a living structure, like an apartment building or something. Hopefully you're not that's not being neglected where you are, because that'd be a serious problem. A lot of the failure of these things may be actually the employment of so many straight lines, or is it the conception of their engineers as thinking that there could be such a thing as a straight line. And that might actually be what's failing about a lot of things, is just the concept of a straight line. Similar to some of our shortcomings as human beings in the limitation of our capacities, mentally, emotionally, physically, it can be appreciated as being subject to, and I think stifled by just the conception of linear anything, not the least of which linear time. The sensation of linear time is what is so daunting and defeating. You have to go for a long run. Did you get tired by the run, or did you get tired by the thought of the run? Did you get tired by the thought of a straight progression of a straight distance, a linear distance? Is that not what daunted you? Okay, so we're about to go running today. Would you last longer if someone said, we're about to go running today, or we're about to run 12 miles today? What would sound more daunting? I think we're running today would sound cooler and more manageable than we're running 12 miles, even if we got around to running 14 damn miles and didn't know how far we had ran. But that's a lot of life, is that we're just simply limited by the things that we appreciate as linear. And if you were to study things down to the atomic level, the chemical level, a lot of things that we have to experience, like even what you see as talking to yourself, talking to yourself, that's a deeper thing than what I just said that it might sound. But even as you conceive as a person getting up on YouTube talking, my face is such a broad, crude, almost bastardization of what I actually am in essence, but also on a chemical level. And then deeper to essence would be, the essence would inform the chemical level, what's appreciated as chemical level. The chemical level would redouble the essence and project to the broader physical uh, larger gross proportion that can be appreciated as called a man talking. But a lot of that is way deeper, and it can be appreciated better in terms of the mechanics and the dynamics within those mechanics of what's transpiring. You can appreciate and understand almost anything better in terms of the dynamics. And if you were to get to the dynamics like such as chemistry, which is a grade of dynamics. It's not the ultimate, the arbiter or the ultimate expression or conception of dynamics, but it's a manageable one. And within that, it's nothing linear. So it's like it's more so jumping. It's like so sometimes you wonder like, how have I been having this experience in life, so many of this experience, or so little of this experience for so long? Is what I appreciate is linear time. Is that something's nothing of anything is changing until there's a significant distinction in the energy, that is the rate and the mechanics of the motion. So actually rate and the maneuvering and the weight, the maneuvering and the rate is actually what can be described as energy. Maybe inertia and speed is energy, but what's more so significant is how something is moving and how frequent something is moving is going to determine where it can abide within the rigors of where it's set. Because any orbit, a lot of life is orbits. You go into a job setting, you're within a certain orbit. You go into a friend circle, you're within a certain orbit. You go into a social scene, you're in a certain orbit. You take up a lot of things, you're within a certain orbit. There are rigors and benefits and dynamics of any wavelength that I think of any wavelength, any energy field, because we're all in different energy fields. For you to abide there, for you to demote or promote, go up or down or abide, is going to be constituted by your rate and also the dynamics of your motion. That is your energy level, your wavelength. And you can abide somewhere, and you shall abide somewhere, so long as you are operating at that rate, that is frequency, and that manner of motion. Nothing is going to change until something about that changes, and you therefore stay there, go down or go up. So a lot of things are actually more jumping, and there's nothing linear about that. It's more so, it's a little bit arbitrary, and it's difficult for even the scientists to grasp, partly because they are also what they're perceiving, and that distinction of not understanding that we are what we are perceiving, we are informing what we are perceiving. That goes beyond a lot of science and professionals and experts, and that's actually some of the violence that they do to people, is that they don't understand that these theories that they're concocting, that they're overlaying, that they're perceiving in other. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Some might say pathology is in the eye of the beholder. That was my experience by and large around professionals. The problem had been with the perception and the vision of the professional who did not love me or have my best interest ultimately, and had a interest in me, a self-interest in me that is a profit incentive on some level, had been a lot of the problem in the perception, that is. But also in studying phenomena, our perception skews things and alters things and somewhat informs and also inflicts and interferes and impedes things. Our very perception does. But things are a wavelength like that, and they jump. And so it's the same with skill. So I've flirted with and picked up and put down the guitar many a time in my life, with many a teacher, with many a resource, with many a learning venue, and paid for that, costly. But then when I actually did experience progress, it happened in a jump. And it was something because I had a teacher that got me to move my fingers differently and think differently about the guitar, especially approaching it like a smoker and hitting it multiple times a day. And I was therefore thinking differently, then moving differently. And that gave me my first insight and experience of creativity. And it went on from there, because there's no limit to anything but our inspiration and our attention and our consistency, and our passion. But the content has been like that also, where I've been doing the content for several months. But then I think that the actual skill set of enunciating ideas, it jumped like that. So you can perceive a difference. If you were to look at the oldest videos to the most recent, there'd be a difference. But also the traction is like that. So I got about maybe 10 subscribers in the last week or two. And that would be a significant, that would speak to the quality more so than the views, would be the subscription. And that's a jump like that I'm thankful for.